Hello everyone, everybody is excited about MetaHuman Animator, me too, and I'm going to have a video about that too and put the animation on the monkey. But there are some other exciting news at this time, and one of them is this application, Style3D, and I'm going to introduce this application to you. So what is Style3D? It's an application for making and simulating cloth, just like Marvelous Designer. It is very similar to Marvelous Designer. The shortcut keys are the same. It feels the same. It works the same. The workflow is the same, and so everything is like Marvelous Designer or Cloth 3D. But it is not a copy of Marvelous Designer. It is written this way so the user feels more comfortable using application, because Marvelous Designer was probably the only application that, majority of the people using Marvelous Designer for cloth simulation. Cloth 3D or Marvelous Designer, they are the same. Cloth 3D has a little bit more options. So the majority of the users have been using Marvelous Designer, so that's why this application looks like Marvelous Designer, but by no means it's a copy of Marvelous Designer. It's completely different, and I'm going to explain the differences. And by the way, when I'm referring to Marvelous Designer, I mean Cloth 3D too. And so I have some notes here to explain the differences. So actually I've been using this application for 2 months. It's in beta and everybody can access it. It's free. And so I discovered the differences, and I'm going to tell you why it's a big deal, this application. First of all, it has less feature. It has less feature than Cloth 3D or Marvelous Designer. So by less feature, I mean less feature for cloth creation. But for simulation, actually the feature that is important for simulation is only simulator, right? And it has more feature and a better simulator. So if you want to use this an application for cloth creation, I would say you should use Cloth 3D because it has more feature and you can make any cloth easily. With this application, you have to try a little bit more to make a cloth that you want. But now let's talk about the important things. GPU simulator. This is the main difference between this application and Marvelous Designer and Cloth 3D. The GPU simulator of this application, here it is. Yep. Actually, the simulator of the application is based on GPU. So you may say it's not a big deal. Marvelous Designer already has a GPU simulator. But if you have been working with that application, you know that the GPU simulator of Marvelous Designer is not usable because it's not accurate. And even it's not accurate, maybe it's not a big deal. You want to just simulate something fast. It's not good for simulation, but even it's not good for creation. Because as soon as you have multiple layers in your cloth creation scene, you will encounter problem, and the cloth are going to penetrate into each other and make a mess. So the GPU simulator of Cloth 3D or Marvelous Designer is basically useless. But it would be so exciting if it was useful. So this is the first one. So let's try it. By the way, this cloth is from the market that I downloaded here, right? it has a big market. Right now it's free, but probably they are going to sell the clothes, or I don't know about their plan. But right now you can go to offline market, and there are thousands of clothes. I mean, in their website they said 5,000 assets, more than 5,000 assets, and I think it's true. And it's not only cloth, they have other things like fabric, different fabric materials, and trims, all kind of trims, and they have all in the market too, so you can download it. So this is the cloth that I downloaded from the marketplace, and I intentionally downloaded this cloth because it has multi layers, and I'm going to test the simulator. So I'm pressing space, and look, this is real time, right? This simulation is real time. You see that? And this is the final simulation. This is the accurate one, you see? And it is incredibly fast, super fast and accurate. We have multiple layers. They are not going to penetrate into each other and make a mess. They are working as they are supposed to, and this one is actually frozen. I'm going to unfreeze that. Unfreeze. Yep. Okay. As you can see, this has no problem with multiple layers, and the GPU simulator works as it's as good as CPU simulator of Marvelous Designer or Style3D. And this is the biggest thing about this application. And if you're wondering what GPU do you need for this application, in their website they said at least you need 3060. I have 3090, but I have tested this on 1080 Ti, and it works as fast. And it seems even with 3090 or 1080, it doesn't make a difference. It's as fast. And this flickering, actually, this there are some, because there are some yeah, there's something like I guess some pins or something over here. Anyway, this is not an issue for the application because I've been working with that, and I intentionally just used this cloth to show you a multi-layer example. So this application is super fast, and the simulator has 3 modes. The default mode is accurate. The simulator, it has normal mode. I think it's just the same but faster. See, let's see if it's actually faster. It doesn't seem that actually faster, but less accurate, definitely. And it has CPU mode, which like the traditional way, it is slow, but this is how you simulate this inside Marvelous Designer if you are using CPU. But the difference is it's exactly the same. The quality is exactly the same. If you are using CPU or GPU or accurate one, it's the same. So we are going to use accurate, and it is based on GPU. So the GPU simulator is super good. The next point is that it's stable. So I've been using this application for 2 months, and I have some simulation, and later in the next videos I'm going to show it to you. And I basically try to push the application to its limits and trying to make the application to crash, but it didn't crash. If you have been working with Marvelous Designer, you know that it is very crash prone, and surprisingly this application doesn't crash at all. And This is kind of weird, because if it's the case it never crashed, it's like a treasure, because I try to see if the application actually going to crash, but it didn't. The application is super stable, and this is one of the differences between this application and Marvelous Design. The next one is Unreal plugin. This is the big one, and I'm going to have another video exactly showing the Unreal plugin. So the Unreal plugin is actually a plugin for Unreal Engine, and what it does, it brings this simulator inside Unreal. And I need to clarify something. You know that there are some cloth simulation that you can use inside Unreal. You can use Chaos, or you can use drape. They are all great, but they are not professional. They are as basically useless for the fashion industry, because fashion industry needs accuracy. They want to see a simulation if a cloth is jean, if denim, the fabric is denim, it needs to behave like a denim. If it's silk, it needs to behave like a silk. Just moving is not enough for them. It should not only it should be accurate simulation for a cloth, it should actually respect the physical property of the cloth, and it's not going to end there. And the cloth has button. It has buttonhole, maybe it has zipper, maybe it has all the things that you can see here. It has top stitch, it has zipper, it has buttonhole, buttons, or whatever you put on the cloth. And in Unreal Engine, you will have all of this. You won't miss any of this. It's like you have the application inside Unreal Engine. And this is the main difference. Those simulator, like UDraper, they are great, they are awesome, but they are made for real-time simulation. This one is not particularly real-time. Maybe you have to simulate your cloth for a few minutes, like 5 minutes, while your animation is 1 minute. 1 minute. So it's not real time. It records the simulation. But if you want to make cinematic, or you want to work in the fashion industry, I mean, not you, but this application, if want to be an important asset for somebody who's working in fashion industry, it needs to be accurate. This is another level of simulation, so it's different. And inside Unreal Engine, you will have all the cloth property as good as Marvelous Designer. And I want to emphasize that the quality is not compromised. It is as good as Marvelous Designer, and it is independent of the application. The plugin is independent. You can have your cloth set up, and you can start simulating it, throw animation on it, and start simulating it, different animation, and you don't need to go back to application and like export something or do something inside the application. You don't need the application. The plugin is enough. And also, I know that Clo is going to release a plugin that works inside Unreal Engine, but as far as I know, from my understanding, it's just something like Live Link, that you have to open the Style3D in one side and have the Unreal Engine another side, and whatever you do inside Style3D, you can see it in Unreal Engine. So it's completely the different thing. It's not the same. This plugin is independent, and you basically simulating inside Unreal Engine. Not you don't need to open the application. And in an again, I need to mention you again that I'm going to have a long video about this. So the next thing, auto layout UV. This is something that from day one I expected to find it somewhere inside Marvelous Designer, but it turned out that it doesn't exist. And that is weird because every single 3D application has this feature. I mean, from 20 years ago, I mean, probably from the first 3D application had this feature, right? And it's auto UV layout. Every application, I don't know. I mean, maybe Blender of course, Maya, Cinema 4D, 3ds Max, whatever application is there, they have this feature. And it is I'm not a programmer, but it is probably easy to implement, but they didn't. The Marvelous Designer team didn't do this. Probably they are going to do that because it's very necessary. And this actually already has UV set up, but let's back it to its original form, right? This is original form. And after making your glove, all you need to do is to select the UVs and select on this button, and done. While in Marvelous Designer, you have to do some really annoying and kind of annoying stuff. You have to do it by hand, and you have to scale it down and to put it into a square, which is really time consuming and annoying, and they don't have this option, but this application has. Anyway, this is another difference. And exporting clean Alembic file. Oh man, this is a big one. So I wanna show you. So let's say you simulate and you want to export everything as Alembic. Okay, export Alembic. And by the way, whenever, okay, let's call it test, you are exporting, it asks you, wait a second, it asks not for Alembic, for other methods, I mean, but I think it's, yeah, for Alembic too. You can bake the textures on export. So it's a difference. In Marvelous Designer, you have to go to bake textures in different menu, but it is in on export. You can bake the textures. And okay, here you can select if you want the avatar, or with the avatar, or with the prop, or whatever you want, or not. Okay, I'm going to export it. Surprisingly, the application crashed after exporting the Alembic. And this is the first time. And yeah, this application sometimes crashes. Okay, anyway. So I imported the Alembic, and this is what I mean by clean. Look at this. Everything is inside the group. Its group, top stitch, and it has its own group. See that? And I can hide it if I don't need it. I have glove, and the glove has different categories. Okay, let's see what's the fabric. You see that? It is the underneath glove, and has another one, this one, another one, this one, and even it is the meshes are separated, but of course you can have them as combined or meshed together. And this is what I mean by clean Alembic, and this is very, very useful. It is incredibly important to organize Alembic. Even they have animation it like that. Right now we don't have any animation, but in any case, they can be like that too with animation. So you can easily, for example, delete something, move something, and you can do some, I don't know, some like animate this or moving the clothes, some visual effects thing. So it's important to have them clean. Have them clean. In Marvelous Designer and Style3D, it gives you a mess basically. But this one gives you a clean Alembic. So that was another difference. So this is the last one that I want to talk about because the application crashed. I'm not going to open the same one, but I'm going to open one of the project that I had. Okay. Okay. And this is the last one that I want to tell you what is it about. And the application supports multiple physical property for different side of the cloth. Which, for example, I select this material and we have front, back, side. I think, I'm not sure though, but I think it is not available in Marvelous Designer and Style3D. Maybe it's a new thing I'm not aware of, but for now, I mean, for this application, we have different material, different physical material for different side of the cloth. For the side, which refers to this side, for example, the edge of the cloth, and back, which refers to the inside of the cloth. So we can have different material, and it is very useful. It is incredibly important. For example, if you have some heavy stuff on the edge of the one cloth, you can have different physical material for the side, and you can select it as something heavy and stiff. And for example, it is important also if you want to have less friction or something from inside, you can do it. I think it's very important to have this feature. And that's about it for this video, and I'm going to talk more about this application and especially the Unreal Engine plugin, which is the game changer. Thank you for watching, and also I remind you I'm going to show you the MetaHuman animator. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.